generated, as I showed before. Um, we've got our generated soy file, the template, and we've got our generated JavaScript. I added a folder inside source and inside templates as well, which is required. This is the code that the generated code will need. At the moment, it's a bit of a mess. Like lots of, yeah, this is a bit of a mess. It will be cleaned up. So then I went and I took the allocate function from the template, which if we go to the allocate, it takes a JSON piece, it looks at the entity, and it switches to the correct template. We look at our schema. Our schema, as on each level, it's got an entity. And if we go look at our data that we're going to send back in a second, it looks exactly like our schema at this stage. This is going to be the data that we're actually using to put on the screen. So what I've done then is I've pasted the stored data, which you just saw, which is the entity of the schema. I've taken the allocate function from the template. I've put the stored data in. I've converted that to a node. I've grabbed the body and I've appended it. So let's just make it. I build for any dependencies. Then here I can just refresh, even though it's still building, which should be fine. Yeah. And boom, it's rendered on screen, exactly like we'd expect. Next up, what I'm interested in doing, let me just quickly grab that. I'm interested in setting up a polling system, and also I'm interested in first in decorating the page component. So I've added this node now, and I know that the top level in the JSON is a page. Therefore, the top level component will be a page component. And if I do that, then and I decorate it, a page component will decorate. This will turn into nothing, really. You won't see a difference. Then the next thing I do is I set up a polling, like a couple of polls. It's a bit more code. So you can see all the code I copied in there. So the last thing I did is I decorated. Now I just instantiate an instance of the parser. This is the generated parser. Then I call it init. The init just creates a data loaded function, creates a new XHR manager, the poll data function, and the poll data just gets that data from this folder, data stories, and then it calls data loaded, gets the JSON, and calls parser on the parser which we created, which is generated. Now, I refresh this. It's all there. Now I go and put a breakpoint right there. And this is when the data is loaded. It should actually be the next line. So if I go to this JSON now, we've got two stories. The first story is, its name is 1, exactly like you can see there. So let's just create a watch expression. So I'm going to change the name to story. Change to story. Boom. There you can see the binding fired. In the same way, if I go, of course it comes back in a story 1. Something I did is I disabled the cache on this one. So if I take this breakpoint away and I start playing with this, storage JSON, so let's just quickly create another task. There we go, there's another task. You can't really see him. Let's go in here. Oh, it hasn't added it.